I'd like to call to order the meeting of September 4th, 2018. Would you all please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance to the flag?
Lord, bless the civil office and the government of our city, that they may do their work in a spirit of wisdom, kindness, and justice. Help them to use their authority to serve our citizens faithfully. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, roll call, please. Here. 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 Here.
Bob? Noah?
Here.
Michael?
Here.
Willard? Mr. Harold is taking
Here.
his place, okay. Hudson?
Here. I received the meeting minutes from August 21st. Any comments or questions on those? Hearing none, they'll stand as presented. We received Columbiana Park Recreation and Cemetery Board meeting minutes of July 23rd. Any comments on those? If not, first up we will ask Braden Tucker of Dying Breed Diesels to come forward requesting permission to hold a vintage semi-truck show on South Main Street in the city of Columbiana.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
How are you? I'm not sure. Did everybody get a copy of my letter? Oh, yeah. Let's spare you the time to read it over there. Just wondering if there's a possibility that we can get together on this. Is there any questions you would have for me? Any requirements that I'm not aware of that I can handle on my end?
Can you give us a little exactly what you want to do? You want to block off Main Street for truck shows?
Yes.
Similar to what the River King did.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you'd be from basically what the square to, how much did you plan to block off?
I really can't give a guaranteed number of.
Oh, I just roughly. I mean, you want to block off the maximum, not the minimum.
Right. Yeah. Railroad tracks. Is that too much?
Railroad Street would probably be the furthest you want to go.
Railroad Street?
Yeah.
Sure. Just, you never take a lot of people at their word, but just on our site alone, verbally I have probably 30 people that committed, 30 trucks. I have no idea how many because this is inaccurate. We're now over 78,000 members. We're growing at a rapid pace.
Why don't you tell council a little bit about it, and you have the press here to give you an opportunity to get a little exposure to what the event would be.
Sure, appreciate that. Again, it's a vintage truck show. We're in vintage semi trucks. It's become more popular of a hobby. I operate Dying Breed Diesels, which is actually a Facebook page that, like I said, we're growing over 100 members a day currently with over 78,000 members worldwide. Annually, I hold what we call a family reunion. We used to hold it at different facilities that I'm no longer acquainted with, and we're looking for another venue to put it. Columbiana, I think, is a beautiful town. I love the history of this town. I'm just trying to bring something good into an environment that I know will be good for both entities. We are open for suggestions on. Normally, we don't charge guys to enter the show, but what we do is we'll put a donation thing there. So I don't know if there's any ideas on who we could benefit with this. We're not in this for the money. We just want to get together, show our trucks, meet new people, introduce people to the hobby, and shine a different light on trucking. Unfortunately, it's becoming an industry that is going in the wrong direction as far as the personnel of it, but there's still a lot of us old school people out there that like to keep the passion alive.
You're still going to make a trip around the town, like a caravan. Did you not bring that up?
I would like to, if they're on Main Street, when we exit, I would like to just go, not around the circle, but just up one side and just straight on out North Main, just to exit the show. That would probably be the most, safest route, and it would put people, I'm assuming some of the guys are coming as far as Philadelphia, Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, West Virginia. They'll probably be staying at either a hotel, hopefully in town, or north of here.
When you say you'd like to conclude with a light show, what would that be?
That is just basically a slow, exit with the marker lights on in the truck.
Okay.
You have 3 dates there, correct? You have
Three days, yes, sir.
3 dates that, any of those would work with you?
Sure. They just try to, I know October's a very busy, month in the Columbiana area, Shaker Woods and everything like that. I'm not an expert at setting this stuff up in conjunction with other things going on. I didn't know if you want to draw people from the Shaker Woods into town, or if you wanted to avoid being on the same date altogether.
One thing that maybe I just missed in the letter, do you have insurance for the event?
Each truck has insurance, but as I indicated in the letter, I'd be happy to look into insurance, and I have been looking online into insurance, but I'd probably, the first phone call I'm gonna make is my insurance agent up here north of town, State Farm, and see what kind of event insurance.
Because the city has a requirement for insurance for any event, is it like $1 million?
Yeah, there's an umbrella policy that they only require, and I spoke to, he was in my office, we talked for an hour.
Okay.
Stuff like that, and we had a good conversation on an old truck driver from way back, so it's a great event, but, yeah, I told him we'd have to look at an umbrella policy that would likely require for all the other events.
Are you near local?
Yes, I live just outside of town. My business is, which is Tucker Equipment, is located in Lisbon, Ohio.
Do you know of any issues with the auxiliary on like the 20th or 22nd?
No, I don't know, the thing I cautioned him was, to try to tell him to check with the chamber, with those event women that come in that have the other events scheduled, and then, you know, with anybody else that might have an event that would conflict. And, we have all these races, all these things, all this stuff going on. Sometimes we wouldn't be able to close Main Street, or it would conflict with another event. We're trying to avoid that. Unfortunately, a good part of the year, there's something most every weekend, so we're trying to.
I think the 4th Saturday is when they have the events on Main Street.
That's the marketplace before.
So, and that would probably be the 27th, so maybe the 20th, you get around that.
Yeah, if we get a month or so out on the auxiliary side, we can generally make it happen pretty easily. Start getting below a month, it gets very difficult to staff. If in fact they even need us to come in, like the real staff of hurricane, it kind of runs itself, we don't really,
Yeah,
sign people there.
other than just closing the street off.
Yeah, just to close the street, yeah.
When's Christmas in the Woods?
A battery.
I think it's the 13th and 14th, I'm not positive. I think there's an outdoor expo the first weekend, and then I think
Christmas in the Woods.
Christmas in the Woods.
That's Saturday, October 20th, and October 13th and 14th.
13th is, 13th is Church of the Woods.
13, 14, and then 2021. I think. No, they go on their own.
Now, Christmas in the Woods is on one weekend. There's 3 weekends, 2 weekends, 1 weekend. Christmas is only one. Passion Christmas, Woods, Shepherd Woods, 13.
Yeah, October 13th.
That week.
So that 20th would still work.
It
They
would.
would be a cap on something on either end. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve pending insurance for October 20th from 3 till 7.
I like that motion.
Seconded.
Any comments?
I guess sounds pretty exciting, something different.
Yeah.
I think it'd be
Great. It's gonna bring a whole different group of people into town.
And a lot from out of town.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
bringing them in, that have probably never been here.
Go to the website, you do some cool stuff.
The Facebook page, it learns every day, I can't keep it. I have a staff of 15 moderators, and we have a hard time keeping up. But we keep it family friendly too, we're very cautious about language, innuendos, and family oriented.
Is it under Dying Breed?
Dying Breed Diesels at Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And I do have .com as well, that ties into my inventory. I actually buy and sell these mini semi-trucks worldwide. In fact, I have 2 of them I'm getting ready to ship to Barcelona, Spain now.
You should hand deliver them.
They'll go to Houston, be containerized. We run an interesting market, it's been good to us. But we do it because we just enjoy it and we're passionate about. And, the vintage truck is, you don't see too many get moving on left flaps or anything like that, you know. I don't want to say it's a better class view, but they're respectful.
Yep.
Towns are really growing in McCungy, Pennsylvania, which is a town relatively the same size as Columbiana. They have the annual show there for their club. And, of course, the Mack Corporation backs it, but there's 850 trucks in this past year.
Wow.
Vendor's license for my, I printed it right, it's a hearse.
Okay.
If it's the Dying Breed thing, I need a vendor's license to sell the shirts and I have a vendor's license, but I need an additional vendor's license to sell the sticker and the shirts.
The city solicitor's permit regs basically involve door-to-door activity, and traditionally not something like he's talking about. If it is a problem, or you believe that you'd rather have them have a city solicitor's permit, it's $10 one-time fee, it's good for a year. I mean, it's not.
I don't think there's any issue there.
I don't think there's an issue there.
And if you don't have it, if I'm allowed to have a charity, I'm a member of the Nazarene Church here in Columbiana. They have, for lack of a better term right now, a soup kitchen. I didn't know if they could set up there. Sure. Or if you had something else in mind, we're really open to help wherever we can.
Well, we sure like to keep the donations local. That's great.
Yeah.
And he could contact a food truck or something, possibly, that, have you thought about that, having a food truck open that day?
For,
out on the street?
For the people who are coming down.
yeah. Well, that's another thing that's attractive. There's restaurants there, the coffee shops there. Yeah, it's a nice setting.
Okay.
Perfect for us. And then a painting over there in the little garden. Our guys will be into that.
Cool.
The truck that you're talking about, okay, is, they're called No Swine Left Behind.
Mm-hmm.
They have the opening up there, Brad and, Rance.
Brad Rand.
Yeah, so you may wanna contact them.
Sure, that'd be great.
Just hold it, well,
Call for the roll.
yes.
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes.
Noel,
Yes.
You're good?
You're good.
Thank you
very much.
Very much.
Who can I coordinate with? The chief or
In terms of,
just progress and?
Probably
probably the city manager would be the best, the city manager's office.
Over this next week, it'll be difficult to get a hold of, but you can reach out to Mike.
Okay.
If it's after this week, then you could ask for Lance.
Okay, yeah, my first step is to get a hold of State Farm and see where everything insurance wise, but I like to touch base with people and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Looking forward to
luck to
it.
you.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, hope you all attend.
We will.
Thank you.
Here's the city phone number. You just call that, so we might. This week, next week, ask for it.
That's a good one. I thought city may have been a CB handle.
Yeah, Lance is the city manager, but he's this week.
Okay, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will move into the manager's report.
Okay, we mentioned last meeting about, getting some credit cards for the city, and, first step is pass resolution, and there is legislation on the agenda tonight for the first reading. The water plant is pretty much done, and it has been running, we're making water. But we're also considering having a ribbon cutting ceremony, probably in early October. We're trying, I know Lance is trying to coordinate that with a couple of different people. You know, there's the engineers, there's the USDA, there's the contractor, there's some of the local, officials, so I know he's trying to, coordinate all that, and we're looking at maybe, the first week of October. The fire station is coming along really well. If you've been out by it, the sides and cupolas have been installed. The gas line is complete, and the sewer line is to follow in the next couple of weeks. We'll be doing the sewer line. And there was, we had a really, great day. The one day I walked in here and there was a donation that was dropped off here at City Hall by an individual who, would rather remain anonymous, but, he wanted to help out with the Southside Fire Station. He made a donation of $12,000.
Wow.
Fantastic, yeah. The other good news is, we received notification that we were awarded the grant loan forgiveness from the EPA to complete the asset and management program. That's for the new water plant, and that grant is around $10,000. The resolutions, there are a couple resolutions on the agenda regarding the tax levies, one for each county, one for Columbiana and Mahoney. That's something we do every year. There's also, Lance has placed a motion on the agenda to support Rite Aid's TREX, T-R-E-X, application to transfer a C1 beer license to the Columbiana Rite Aid location, on the basis of promoting economic development. The project is outlined in the attachments that you received, and this would be a transfer from a different store that was closed in the Cleveland area. So that is on the agenda. Coming up, well, with the department, street department, they've been patching potholes with hot mix. They finished up paving Creek Road and the cemetery, and Creek Road will be lined. I'm not even sure if it's lined yet or not, but I didn't check with Jesse, but it should be lined in either this week or next week. The water department, there was 42 dig locates, 9 hydrants were flushed, 1 water tap, 3 new construction meters were installed. We've replaced 12 other meters, and we're working on a contingency plan, I believe, for the water plant, and they're going to continue to work on Crestview Road for a new well. Wastewater, they made and installed a new pipe gallery for the grit pump, and they sent the annual testing, DMR-QA, I'm not sure what that is, but that had to go to the EPA. And they removed and poured concrete steps around the oxidation ditch because of the settling of the old steps. They cleaned grease from the north end lift station to fix the level sensor. Park and cemetery, as of yesterday, the pool is not closed on Labor Day. So that I know it's hot these next 2 days, but we didn't have anybody to staff, the lifeguards, so, it is officially closed for the season. And they've been working with a contractor to start on the old chapel rehab. Finishing up for the year on the project at the park shop, what they did, they're gonna start this back next year, but I don't know if you've been over by the park shop, there was, the back of it had some, I don't wanna call it junk, but just, debris and stuff. They cleaned all that up, they leveled it off, they put gravel in there, and they poured a couple cement pads where the gas and diesel fuel tanks are gonna go. We're gonna get new tanks from Leiden. They're gonna come down and install them and put them in. At this point, we're not gonna have the fog system like we have with the other tanks down at the line shop, but we will in the future. We'll be working on that. That's really great. You can't get gas or diesel without one of these things. And next year, we're planning on installing a fence around it so that everything will be fenced in. Again, they paved at the cemetery. They're, the small cement projects were for the tanks I mentioned, and the pool is also closed. Electric department, crews finished the new foundry office line extension. I don't know if you've been by the foundry, the Columbiana foundry, they built a brand new building, and we had to extend the line out to that building. They installed new underground electric at Radcliffe Pass extension. They pulled the last 3 green bases on East Park Avenue and filled them in. Those were the old bases that were the old light poles, those green light poles that we took the poles down, and the bases were still there. They finally got those out of there. And they attended a meeting to discuss the 7 to 14 loop project. And they also installed 4 new services. Last thing I have, I have two things. Terry Schaefer informed me today that he was notified by is his name Terry Rambo? Kenny Rambo from the Legion. The helicopters that were going to come in on Saturday, that has been canceled. So I know there was a lot of interest in that the last couple of years, but it's beyond our control, and that event has been canceled. The other thing is our renewal is up in October for our health insurance. The benefits committee met last Friday with the quotes that we received from a couple different insurance carriers, and they had I think the chief is going to make a recommendation, and also Bob Gearhart is here tonight if you have any questions. It is a first reading, so if you have questions that we need to look into, that we have a little bit of time to do that yet. That's all I have, Brian, if there's any questions.
Okay. We also received notification from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control regarding an application for a new D5 liquor permit within the city for Frasco's Belleria Enterprises, 258 State Route 14. Normally, in the past, whenever we receive these, we've made a motion to set a hearing, and then if we don't carry out a hearing, we vote no. Correct? So we would need to entertain that at this time. Is there a motion to request a hearing?
I'll make a motion to request a hearing.
I'll second the motion.
Any comment? Again, if you don't feel the need for a hearing, it would be a no vote. A roll call?
No.
McVeigh?
No.
Liston?
No. No.
Becker?
No.
Received the bill list for September 4th. Any comments on it? Hearing none, we'll move into old business. Due to the length of the ordinances, can I have a motion to read them by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
McVeigh?
Yes.
Liston?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Souter?
Yes.
Ordinance number 18-0-2979, second reading. An ordinance implementing section 3735.65 through 3735.70 of the Ohio Revised Code, establishing and describing the boundaries of community reinvestment areas in the city of Columbiana, designating a housing officer to administer the program, and creating a community reinvestment housing council and a tax incentive review council.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment?
I just have a question. Been reading stuff on the web about the full process for doing this, and in some place, I think I read something about there was a need for the school board to be notified that we were planning to do this, and, I think in the application, there's supposed to be something about what their reaction is, and then there was also something about, revenue sharing programs and things of that sort. Is the school board been informed of all this yet? And are we premature in passing it before we get their
Since council has not taken any action on it, I don't think the school board's been informed of it. I can pretty much guarantee that the school board hasn't been informed yet.
Yes.
Have they? Dawn was, but I don't know if.
Well, the superintendent.
Superintendent knows about it.
Just a clarification, I know for a fact, Lance has met with the superintendent and the treasurer, but not the school board.
Yeah,
I stand corrected.
yeah. And again, I read through all the regulations because they use the word council over and over again, and don't necessarily tell you which council they're talking about. There's the business council, then there's what are the other two called?
The housing council.
The housing council and the tax incentive council, and then they use that first, and then they go through, and the regulation just simply says council after that. So I got very confused reading through everything. I will admit that.
It's my understanding that we have to create the framework of this and then petition the state, right? And at that point, everything else needs to be.
We create the framework, the state then has to, I guess you could say, approve it, but basically, we do the homework, we put it all together, then we send it to the state.
So this is step one, not.
Yeah, I understand. I just wanted to make sure that we were doing everything in the right order.
I mean, I think this would be, passing the legislation is the very first step, and then all of the work has to be done to put all this together.
Okay. That was, just wanted to make sure we weren't getting ahead of ourselves.
I don't think we are.
Okay.
And, yeah, I stand corrected, and I believe you're right. Well, Dawn and Lance met with the superintendent and the treasurer, but I don't think it came from before the board yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other comment? Roll call?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
I think that may be one of the first steps for the best legislation we've passed in years. Under new business, I need a motion to support Rite Aid's Trex application to transfer their C1 beer license to the Columbiana Rite Aid location on the basis of promoting economic development.
So moved. Second.
Any comment? Roll call?
Noel?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Liston?
Yes.
Resolution number 18-R-526, first reading. A resolution accepting the amount and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment? A roll call?
Becker?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Liston?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Resolution number 18-R-527, first reading. A resolution accepting the amount and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment? Roll call?
Howard?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Noel,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes.
Resolution number 18-R-528, first reading. It's a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Huntington National Bank to obtain a credit card for the city of Columbiana.
So moved.
Second.
And this is in response to the auditor.
This is, well, no, actually, it's, House Bill 312, which was recently passed, and, what they did is they're prohibiting us from having debit cards, which debit cards comes directly out of your checking account, where a credit card does not. It's more of like a fraud thing, that's what they're trying to cut down on. So we do have a debit card, we have two of them, Lance had one, I had one. Mine never left the office, other than if I went on a conference or seminar. So we're in the process of not using the debit card anymore to get a credit card. Because it does come in handy for, when people go, for training and seminars and conferences, you know, we can charge the hotel directly to the credit card, and that way the employee doesn't have the expense of having to, even though they'll get reimbursed, they would still have to pay for it up front.
The credit card also is gonna allow, the city to take a look at the charges first, and they can go back to the credit card company and say,
Right.
this isn't ours.
Right. They can
Before it
put
comes out of the checking account, or before it goes out of the account.
Right.
Good.
And I believe we're not getting anything with like points and all that kind of stuff. It's just gonna be strictly for, you know, credit card that we're gonna use for city business.
Any other questions, comments?